Well, while Hugh's just rolling a cigarette, this seems like a good time to give a content warning for this particular project. There may be some effing and jeffing, some coarse language that the young ones might not want to hear.
I think it's time for you to start to seriously consider salads.
What do you mean?
What do I mean? Get off my car before you flip it over, you fat fuck.
I don't like food. I love it. Keep feeding. Lunches, time to eat. Yo, I know the perfect meal for you.
Come down to eat.
Jesus Christ, is that all you people do? The lunch we had with Jim and Woodchip.
Good evening and welcome to the Daily Dined.
Episode 12 of the Daily Dined.
And we had a little road trip today, I guess, down to Brighton.
Yeah, well, we got the train down, went to 7 Stars, not too far from Brighton Pier, because they're doing half price beers to get rid of their beer before the lockdown.
So it's the last night tonight, isn't it?
So we were going to do a little pub crawl, and then half price beer kept us where we are.
Yeah, for sure.
But they had, what was it, Yulu, which was like one of the ones we had at a beer festival in the last couple of years, which is very, very good. Nice.
It was really
hazy
nice.
IPA, man.
Yeah.
Really, really good. And I was drinking 2 apart from that.
And of course, paying, what was it, $2.60 for a pint of that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
lovely.
yeah, kept us there for sure. Yeah, down in Brighton, down by the pier, not too far from the seaside at all. We're in the Upper Market Street. What was the restaurant called, Hudson?
So we went to the Little Fish Market.
The highly anticipated Little
Very
Fish Market.
highly anticipated. I was really, really looking forward to this place.
Yeah.
So yeah, we had a few pints in Brighton Centre-ish. Then
maybe 1 or 2 too many, but that's by the by.
I think a couple too many personally, but we'll get to that.
Yeah.
So it's about a 15-minute walk from Brighton. So it was in Hove, wasn't it?
Technically Hove. So it's about a 15-minute walk from Brighton Pier.
Okay, yeah. So quite further than I thought. I mean, thought it was
relatively speaking. It's like we basically walked across Brighton.
Yeah.
It's like just over a mile maybe from Brighton Pier. Very unassuming little place.
Yes, yeah.
There's a little pop-in town centre with all sorts going on, loads of people, loads of takeaways, loads of bars. But we turned off that to go down some like dingy little well, not dingy, quite nice.
No, not dingy at all. No.
Quite nice residential street to this restaurant.
And I think, yeah. So when we got there, the waitress very kindly opened the door because we were obviously looking at it, ready to come in.
Well, I had my mask on.
Yeah, Theo had his mask on, and I was like, no, like we need a cigarette. So I had a little smoke before coming in, and upon entering, it was not what I had expected at all.
Yeah, so there was quite nice music playing. It was pretty good music. I rated the music, I think, throughout the night.
Yeah,
but
the music was very
low key in the decoration. Like we chose the biggest table of the ones up for grabs, which was probably the best table.
I think so. The most space, for sure.
The most space. We had 2 opportunities, like 2 chances to sit by the window, but the window, it's like you're looking out at anything. It's like you get to look out at residential streets and a bin. It's like
so yeah. Of the options we had, I think we chose the best table.
Yeah.
So my initial thoughts after being seated and whatnot, the waiting staff were very nice,
friendly.
Yeah,
but struggled to hear a word of what they were fucking saying.
So I had to rely on Theo as to what the guy that was serving us was saying. I could not hear a thing he was saying.
So they were both wearing plastic visors, and I don't know how I managed to pick up more than Hudson.
I couldn't hear them at all.
Maybe it's because I've been working with people wearing these plastic visors, and I have to deal with like plastic screens and stuff all the time at work.
Yeah.
So I'm slightly more well practiced at like understanding what the fuck people were saying.
Sure.
But like I honestly missed 60%. Like I picked up keywords, and I was like, oh, I think it's this and this for this dish, or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
But lovely, super friendly.
Yes.
Very laid back atmosphere. We were, basically me and you were the only people in there not in a shirt.
Yeah.
But I think that's more to do with the acclaim of the restaurant than the actual ambience of the restaurant. The waiter was wearing like a pink shirt and like blue brogues.
Yeah.
Which was, I mean, he's put it off, no judgment here, but it was like, it was not.
So when we sat down, we weren't given a menu, which is fine.
We were given a drinks menu.
we were given a drinks menu. We were given the wine pairing menu and a wine
menu.
list which
Yeah.
contained about 5 or 6 wines.
Yeah, it's about 6 wines. The cheapest of which was 30 quid. The most expensive was 70, 80 pound.
Yeah.
Something like that.
And so the menus were written in black marker on the mirrors.
Yeah.
So there were 2 big mirrors on the restaurant, and the menu was written on those.
In illegible handwriting.
I say written, it was a bit like you can
Not quite
maybe
legible.
make out a word.
I could read most of it, but we were going to be relying on the online menu to
Yeah.
inform you about what we ate tonight.
So I said to Theo at the time, this is all fine and dandy, but I do quite like being given a menu.
Same, for sure.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even like scan in and have a wireless menu. It was like, there's the menu. It's a tasting menu. But then the tasting menu was what they offered, so...
Yes.
I totally appreciate that. I understand that.
Yeah, so that was fine. So we could make it out, but at the same time, it's nice, as we had experienced in Gordon Jones, it's nice to have a bit of a surprise and sort of go with the flow a little bit.
Yeah, and
so
since
that's
we
fine.
couldn't read the menu, it's like, go with the flow a little bit.
Exactly. May I ask, what did you initially think of, like, the drinks menu and things?
Well, it wasn't a comprehensive... They gave us a wine list, and we asked about an aperitif.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, oh yeah, we've got a couple of beers. Couldn't hear what beers they had, apart from Peroni.
No?
That due to the visor.
Yeah.
But they were like, oh, we've got G&Ts. So we thought, yeah, a couple of G&Ts as an aperitif.
Yeah.
And it's appeared to be a Brighton gin, given the gaudy glass.
Yeah, so I'll post a picture of the glass on Facebook, but it was fucking... it was not classy at all.
It's decent gin, though.
Yeah, I enjoyed the G&T.
And I mean, the wine list and that wasn't too much of an issue since we went for the wine flight.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was just a bit of a last blast, a final hurrah.
And I shamed myself on this wine flight. I was so trashed by certain points. Did I give you the rest of my wine for the halibut dish? I think I might have done.
Yeah.
I was so messed up.
At least one of the courses I finished your wine.
Yeah, we'll get to it, but I was mighty pissed on this restaurant trip.
Yeah.
So, shall we move into...
Straight into the amuse-bouche. It wasn't an amuse-bouche, but...
bread.
Oh, the bread,
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah.
Okay, so they started off, they teased us with 6 olives and like
Yeah.
a slab of butter.
Can I get your opinion on the olives, Theo?
Meh?
Yeah, they kind of sucked, didn't they?
They were fine, it was like olives. But like, do you know those olives we sell in the shop? Those fancy Italian ones.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those are like top quality olives.
Yeah,
That's
they're really nice,
kind of
yeah.
what I was expecting, but these were pretty like average olives. Which is like, whatever. That did not affect my judgment of the restaurant at all. The lack of... can we start with the ambiance?
Yes.
Because there were 2 big mirrors on the wall that had the menus written on them,
Mhm.
and there was no other decor.
That was it.
And we were kind of sitting in a corner of like an eggshell white painted room.
Mhm.
So, because I had my back to the rest of the restaurant, I had nothing but Hudson and whiteness, which is it's not a terrible view. But,
It's not great. Yeah, no decor really to speak of. And so I was looking at the station where they made the drinks and poured the wine and stuff, and it was very much like a knocked up IKEA fridge setup going on.
yeah. So the sourdough had, for those in the know, when you're making sourdough, you keep a little bit aside. You keep it fermenting, so you don't have to like rebase the yeast, like start it all again and spend hours and hours and hours restarting this thing. So this sourdough came from a ferment that was 70 years old,
Which is impressive.
which like initially started in Austria,
Mm-hmm.
and I would say hands down the best sourdough I've ever had.
So you liked it.
I really liked it.
You liked it an awful lot, and for me, I ate it, and it was pleasant, but it didn't blow my mind at all.
Which kind of surprised me. I will definitely say it was not the best bread course we've had on this trip. Not even close. That squidding still tickles me. But as a sourdough, that was probably the best sourdough I've ever had.
Fair enough. So I'm notorious for not particularly liking sourdough too much, so maybe I just didn't appreciate it. But I did put about half an inch of butter on my sourdough as well. So it was just like, this is delicious and buttery. But it didn't blow me away.
It
by
really
any
had
means.
that kick. It really had a nice kind of... that was quintessential sourdough for me, and I really raised that. And that led me in for high hopes. I think the first course really got our
Juices
stomachs
flowing.
primed. Yeah, juices flowing, stomachs primed, ready to fucking chow down.
Yeah, for sure. So it was introduced again. Unfortunately, I couldn't hear a fucking word the guy was saying. But it was introduced as like a sushi-esque
Yeah, so it was kind of
thing.
it's a bit of a sushi course. So it was kind of king prawns on pork crackling,
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
which had a really nice kind of just a tiny little bit, but a really nice little saucy song. I can't remember what it was. And nigiri, which is salmon on rice, and they pre-seasoned it with the soy sauce.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
like, soy sauce is a very controversial thing among sushi lovers.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like,
Okay.
proper sushi, you don't have soy sauce. It's done as it is. You eat it all in a mouthful, fish side down. That's how it goes.
Fish side down.
Yeah, so, like, we
Okay.
technically ate it wrong, but wrong is very
Okay. All right.
objective,
Fine. Yeah.
like,
yeah.
subjective. And what was the last thing?
It was a
Smoked mackerel little poof.
eclair. It was
Eclair.
a smoked mackerel eclair.
With a nice, like, a healthy amount of Parmesan cheese, like, great on top. And to start with the order in which they displayed it. Like, when we get these little amuse-bouches, I always like to eat them in the order they're given, like, they're described to us.
Yeah.
Because that seems, to me, for no particular reason, like the right order in which to eat them. So we started with this lovely king prawn on the pork crackling. And the pork crackling was just, like, so lovely and delicate. Just, like, melted away in the mouth.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And the king prawns just had such an amazing texture, and again, they didn't look like they were cooked. They were not pink at all, so I think it might have been genuine sushimi kind of,
I think it was pretty raw. Yeah.
and
yeah.
absolutely astounding. That was an amazing start to our first proper course at the Little Fish Market, you know? I think it's not going to be as good as it could be, because we were so drunk. So that's the best I can do at describing the dish. And then the nigiri. Do you want to talk about nigiri? Because you really dug that.
Is that the salmon one?
Yeah.
So yeah, salmon basically plonked on top of a bit of rice. The salmon was gorgeous. I've never had it before. It's quite a famous thing, so I'm surprised I've not had it before. And as soon as you bit into it, the salmon again dissolved on the tongue.
Literally,
it really did.
Melted away.
And I enjoyed the hint of soy sauce.
I love
It
soy
was
sauce.
perfectly
so, yeah.
balanced.
And I said that's like not a traditional thing. That's more of like a Western or like a hedonist thing. I'm sure there's plenty of Japanese people who put soy sauce on their nigiri.
So, but it was the perfect.
Fucking brilliant.
It was the perfect touch of soy sauce. So the salmon melted on the tongue, and it was just a really pleasant thing to eat. That was my favourite of the amuse-bouche.
See, I'm still not sure between that and the prawn on the crackling.
I think I did prefer the salmon.
Yeah, and I said that I'm still not sure. I love that salmon. I feel like we're underpaying the kind of smoked mackerel eclair, because that was amazing as well.
Yeah, it really was.
That
It was good.
Really, really good. Not over smoked, just like a healthy amount of smoke with this delicate little eclair.
So the eclair, I think they just called it an eclair because it did look like an eclair.
No, that was definitely an eclair it was served in.
Yeah, for sure. But
It was like
you couldn't
like a
taste any
sweet
sort of
bready.
pastry or anything. It was just
So the eclair really lent to the texture of the smoked mackerel, and with, like, as I said, a healthy amount of parmesan. It was a strong starting course.
it really was.
Not counting the bread.
What do you think to replicate the eclair look, what do you think the black/dark brown stuff was on top of the eclair?
I don't even remember. Was that not just the
Did they say?
lovely toastedness of the eclair?
No, it was
Okay.
definitely like
I have no
a
idea.
faux saucy thing. But it started off really strong, so I think our expectations were high from that point.
Yeah, and I mean, given that it was like straight up £85 was like the first thing we saw on the menu.
Oh, and we sort of came into the wine pairing quite late.
Oh, did we? We asked for an aperitif.
Yeah.
And then we're like, oh, can we have a wine pairing? And we had this lovely champagne. I'm not sure we came in late.
Oh, okay, alright.
Because I think that champagne was for the first course.
Sure, okay, fair enough.
So it was a really nice champagne. I mean, I'm not much of a wine connoisseur.
No.
I can't say much more than it was nice. Should we go into the next course?
Yeah, let's.
So it was the egg and soldiers was the next course.
Was that the next one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which, I mean, looks like your classic egg and soldier. Like it looked like a soft-boiled egg with a couple of bits of toast sliced into fingers. Couldn't say what the bread was, but what was the egg? So it was like smoked haddock.
Is that what it was? Yeah.
Yeah. With they said like a hint of passion fruit,
Passion
something
fruit,
else. And I think it was soft-boiled egg. It did taste very, very eggy.
Oh yeah, it was egg for sure.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
So it was like egg and smoked haddock and like a hint of passion fruit.
Yeah.
Which again was a very, very strong course. Served in a very kind of interesting way. I haven't had egg and soldiers since I was about 8.
See, it's quite trendy to serve egg like in that.
We were in Brighton,
Guys,
wasn't we? We were in
imagine an egg, slice the top off to serve, if you like, amuse bouche. It wasn't an amuse bouche, but it was
like in a
one
cup.
of the courses.
Yeah.
In a cup. It is a trendy way to serve
Yeah.
an egg course at the moment.
It was
But
taking them millennials back to their youth, wasn't it?
Yes, yeah. And they advised us to mix it up
Yeah.
prior to eating it.
Which made it a wee bit of a mess, because obviously it was filled to the brim.
Yeah,
But for sure, like, definitely worth doing it, for sure.
absolutely.
Very, very good. Another strong, interesting, novel course.
Yes, yeah.
I enjoyed that. I don't really have that much more to say about it, to be honest.
No, it was very enjoyable, but I haven't got much to say about it either.
Yeah, which, I don't know, is maybe undercutting the Michelin vibe.
I think we've said what we can say about it.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, so we got the homage to Michael Ross next.
Fucking fucker duck.
Which was some fucking weak ass deconstructed salad.
So we were set up to not fail, I would say.
Yeah,
in
well,
a big way.
I was thinking, in my head, this is already on the level of Menu Gordon Jones,
Yeah.
which is the highest rated restaurant so far.
So set up with the beautiful sourdough, the sushi, which blew both our minds in either one bit or another, and then that egg cup, which was again a bit, as Theo said, a bit novel,
But delicious.
But delicious.
Yeah, it's like I will take any kind of novel serving if
Yes.
it's delicious.
And then we got served this fucking salad, which was
As I said, a deconstructed salad. It was like individual parts of the salad laid out amongst the plate.
Yeah.
No fish.
No fish at all.
I think the centre of it was meant to be like a smoked aubergine puree, but I didn't get much smokiness and I didn't get any aubergine.
So I'll post a picture on the grams when we drop this episode. But
Which
it
one?
was a piece of broccoli, a piece of tender stem broccoli.
I forgot about the broccoli.
Don't
The
get
broccoli was such a nothing.
Don't get me fucking started about the broccoli. A piece of tender stem broccoli, a piece of pear, which may have been like poached or something.
I liked the pear.
And
the
then
pear was nice.
Maybe 3 or 4 pieces of pickled beetroot with dollops of puree. I think that was it. And was there kale on that motherfucker?
There was kale. Obviously, there was fucking kale.
So there was kale.
I only wanted to notice one bit of the pickled beetroot. The rest was maybe it was just like a bit flavourless and lackluster. But
Okay. Well, let's break it down. So when it got put in front of us, I think we were both like, okay, what the fuck?
oh, there was a bit of beetroot. Butternut squash as well, or a little bit.
Oh,
of squash.
sorry, a bit of butternut squash, which was
Roasted squash.
which the piece of butternut squash was totally forgettable because it was flavourless and shit. The piece of broccoli was like as if you just blanched a bit of broccoli at home. It was complete nothingness of this calibre of restaurant. The purees didn't taste of much.
Yeah, they didn't lend anything to the dish.
Not at
and
all.
surely that's the point. Surely that's where
Yeah.
the flavours are meant to come from.
The pear for me, I think Theo liked the pear, but the bit of pear for me was a bit like, again, redundant.
I like the pear.
As redundant as the dish. I like pear.
That's the thing. I liked the pear on the
Oh,
dish.
okay, right.
I think the pear was one of the things that. See, I don't want to praise it too highly because it was all right. It made the dish not an entire write-off, and the slice of the purple pickled beetroot was quite nice as well. So those were the two aspects of the dish that didn't make it an entire fucking train wreck, but the rest of it dragged it down so fucking far that I don't know. It was almost like another Taqueries in my mind. I was like,
On the whole, the dish.
No, that's harsh because taqueries was just shit all the way through. But this was just like, that was like a real shock to the system after having such delicious, thoughtful, well presented food. This was just like such a shit show.
On the whole, the dish was a train wreck for me. I completely just drop it off the menu.
Again, I'm mentioning the pear and the beetroot as saving graces to make it not an entire waste of time.
Yeah.
But I totally agree. Drop off the menu. Do literally anything else with maybe all that lovely fish that you've got.
Yeah, it was wank. So I think we've said what we need to say about that dish. And what did we go in for next? I have forgot. Oh shit! I think it might have been the monkfish.
Yeah.
So next we had monkfish. Have we
And
got
that's
any
the thing.
details?
Sorry, just to talk about the wine pairings.
Oh yeah, go for it. Yeah.
I was fine with all the wines. There were only one or two of the wine pairings that really I thought, yes, this pairs well with the dish that I'm eating. But on the whole, it was like, this is all right wine that I'm not thinking about when I'm eating because I'm eating all this lovely food.
So I think us being pissed beforehand very much contributed to that, because in retrospect, I did not need that wine pairing at all. I was too pissed to appreciate any of the wine.
And also, well, I'm not much of a wine person. Like, I like wine. I am glad we went for the wine pairings, because I tried some really interesting wines that I wouldn't have tried otherwise. Like in that last course, the gunpowdery, whatever it was.
So that was served with the...
Did you take a picture of that? I meant to take a picture of the wine
No, I didn't,
pairings,
no.
so this is
No.
going to be utter nonsense. I think they're all solid wines, and I really enjoyed 2 or 3 of them. But on the whole, I don't think we needed it. And it's not because we were too pissed. I think you have to be a real wine fan to appreciate what they were giving to us.
I think being pissed contributed.
What did you say did the wine menu?
Oh, Noble Rot, which is a really famous winery / restaurant / bottle shop in London. So that's quite cool, because Noble Rot are a big deal. I thought that was interesting, actually. Yeah.
But the next course was a really lovely monkfish kind of like medallion.
Yep.
With the tom yam pickled veg.
Yep.
Which really blew my mind. That worked so well with the monkfish.
Mm-hmm.
And what was this sauce?
So there was a sauce which unfortunately I don't remember what it was, but there was a puree as well, which I would describe as a Thai green puree.
Yeah.
So all the flavours of Thai green put into this little puree.
Working with like the tom yam
Yeah.
flavours coming from this pickled veg
Yeah.
with this beautifully cooked monkfish.
Yeah. With
Really, really enjoyed it.
a prawn cracker. Not a prawn cracker that one might think. So it was a prawn. There was a prawn inside there, cooked in like a battery crackery type thing.
Yeah, and
So-
you ate it as just one to start the dish.
So Theo started eating the dish and was like, oh, not sure about this. So I just picked up this prawn cracker, dipped it in a bit of the sauce, dipped it in a bit of the Thai green curry puree, munched on it, and it was delicious. It really was.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think I battled on too long trying to make it part of the dish.
Yes.
When you did it right. You just picked it up and ate it, and
Well,
we're done with it.
I think you did it right.
Yeah, no, I didn't.
No, but what I mean by that is...
How it was meant to be.
How are you supposed to know to pick up this prawn cracker and just eat it straight away? You're not supposed to know that.
You're not supposed to know it,
Yeah,
but I think
yeah.
I think you did it right.
So I did it in the right way, in that terms of things, and it was fucking delicious. It was like the best prawn cracker I've ever eaten, sort of calibre.
It was nice, but it just didn't work in combination with the rest of the things
No.
on one fork.
So what I was left with was this beautiful bit of monkfish with a Thai green curry puree and the... What do you
Tom
call
yam.
it? Tom yam. And when I was left...
It's like tom yam pickled vegetables, so it's tom yam flavoured pickled vegetables.
Oh, okay. So when I was left with that,
Ugh.
that dish was harmony. The monkfish was perfectly cooked. The puree, what I like to call the Thai green curry puree, was phenomenal. It was so punchy and so flavoursome. And the pickled veg just stole the show.
Yeah, and like we were already talking about it as being like a potential dish of the day.
Interesting. Yeah. Shall we come back to dish of the day? Actually.
Yeah, no, but we were at the time. We were
That
talking
yes.
about it
Yeah.
as a dish of the day potentially. But yeah, no, I think we should come back to the end because there was so much going on here.
So by this time, guys, I was pretty fucked up with the wine pairing and the pints prior. I was on a level already.
Yeah, like, we both were.
What came next? This is the thing. I'm struggling to remember what came next.
It just says bream on the menu. Was that the thing in the massive... It was the big white plate with a little bit in the middle, where I was complaining about the massive plates. But that
Wow!
blew us away.
Oh wow!
Taste-wise.
I cannot believe I forgot about this dish. Was that the next dish?
Yeah.
So it was a bit of bream, about maybe 4 or 5 inches.
Yeah.
Crispy skin.
Ugh.
The flesh was perfectly cooked. Really was.
And just like resting in... What was it? It was like blood orange and...
So I would describe it, from a foodie point of view, as a blood orange Belmonte. So like a blood orange like butter sauce is how I would describe it. And fuck me.
That blew both of our minds.
So
Like,
I think...
the bream was just sublime, as Hudson said.
Yeah.
That crispy skin, just absolutely, just that fucking skin stole the show. It was ridiculous.
For me, that butter sauce with the blood orange, it wasn't too acidic, so it was a perfect sort of...
It was a nice sweet, it's a sweet acidity.
Yeah, a nice sweet acidic touch to this butter sauce that I could have lapped up straight out of a bowl. Yeah, really good dish, actually. Do you want to talk about the plating of it, or are you not too fussed?
I don't know, I think we've talked about it before. Which I think we just mentioned dish of the day.
Yeah, I think that's my dish of the day.
Same, for sure, hands down.
So that's my dish of the day.
And that the sushi course was close to second.
Oh, for me, the monkfish is close second. But I can't believe I forgot about that. That was such a phenomenal fish course.
That's what happens when you get fucking wrecked before you go to these fine dining experiences.
Yeah, that course, honestly, amazing. It really was amazing. Thoroughly enjoyed that. And just you got into you fingered up the sauce, didn't you? Am I?
To a certain extent, yeah.
Yeah.
I had a couple of like index fingers.
The sauce was really that good, guys. It really was. I wish I copied you, but I was looking at you like you're a heathen. Do you think it's fair to say from here shit sort of went downhill?
So what was the next dish? I'm looking at that and I can't tell because there was something in between.
No, so what happened was we complimented the waiter on how fucking brilliant that dish was. And he was like, yes, you like that? Wait till what comes next. And we were like, oh my god, if what's coming next is half as good as that, I'll be happy. However...
What came next was turbot, which...
Was it turbot?
Yeah.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, turbot, which got like both of our engines running.
Yeah.
Both of our motors going, because like we both love a bit of turbot. With cauliflower cheese and like this... What's the word?
There's a set mushroom.
Like marinated mushroom.
Yeah.
With a black garlic puree.
Yeah.
With something on top. But this was probably...
There's a bit of cauliflower as well.
Oh, yeah, but it was with the cauliflower cheese.
Yeah.
Did I not say that?
Yeah, you did, sorry.
Yeah, with the cauliflower cheese and like a garnish of like... It was either raw or very lightly kind of steamed cauliflower. But this was the disappointment of the day, I would say.
Absolutely. So, in terms of how these tasting menus work, I would consider it like the main.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that was what our big knife and fork was there for.
Yes.
Because when we sat down, we had 4 sets of knife and forks.
Yeah. Bit clunky.
Three small ones and a big one.
Yeah.
So this was like, oh yeah, this is the big boy ready to go. But the turbot was, in both of our opinion, undercooked.
Yes, I don't disagree with that. What I'm going to say, it was interestingly cooked. It had like a raw texture to it. I don't disagree with undercooked, but I think the chef achieved what he wanted to achieve.
Yeah, well, the chef fucked up.
So there was like this, it was like a raw texture. It was cold.
Yeah.
The cauliflower cheese. So the turbot was served on a bed of cauliflower cheese. The cauliflower cheese did fuck all for the dish. It was bland, it was boring.
You reckon? I quite like the cauliflower cheese.
I didn't really dig it at all.
The mushroom, this marinated mushroom, did bits.
Oh, right, I thought you were going to slag it off.
No,
so the
no.
marinated mushroom, I think it was a sep, did loads of things for that dish. The sep was, I think it was a sep.
Yeah.
The sep was really well cooked.
With the cauliflower cheese. Fantastic. I think that really kind of lent a lot of depth to the cauliflower cheese. But again, cauliflower cheese on a menu like this is a little bit schoolboy.
I didn't enjoy the cauliflower cheese aspect at all. I didn't enjoy the turbot, which is such a shame because turbot is one of my favourites. So not enjoying turbot, it really does cut deep because...
Yeah, see, I quite enjoyed the cauliflower cheese. I was disappointed by the turbot.
And the black garlic puree.
Tastes like arsehole.
Sucks dick.
Honestly, it actually tastes like fucking arsehole.
It sucked. I left half of my puree.
I left the majority. I battled through half of my dish with it.
Yeah.
And then I was like, fuck it, this is like an orange pith puree all over again.
Yeah.
I don't need this in my life. Which is such a shame because I love garlic.
So we thought perhaps it was some sort of yeast type of puree-esque thing.
He told us before, and then we asked
I
again.
couldn't fucking hear the fucking guy.
And he was like, no, black garlic. And I was like, tastes like arsehole.
So, unfortunately, the main dish was a real letdown. And by this time, I think that this is when I gave you the rest of my wine because I was so fucked up.
Yeah.
So by this time, I was trashed. I was absolutely slaughtered. So I was like, Theo, have my wine. Which is...
Well, what was it? A couple of G&Ts on the train. Like 4 pints before we got to the restaurant.
This is what I mean. Even under these conditions, this is not like me to back down. But I was just like, I just don't want this wine. And it was really good wine with the turbot. The wine with the turbot
was described by
really
the sommelier as the daddy of
oh, is that what
wine
she said?
pairing.
Yeah.
This was the daddy of all wines.
It was
this
good.
Fish.
So a sip of it
nice.
was like, I would describe as like buttery. So it was a really nice wine, but I was done by
Complimented
this point.
the dish well. Again, like
I was
we've kind of
fucked.
given up our
Yeah.
lack of wine knowledge.
Yeah.
Although the wine that came next really got me going. That was like
good.
a really nice, delicious dessert wine.
So were we in...
Similar to the one you talked about in Gordon Jones.
Yeah, yeah.
So like not too overpowering.
Were we in Puds by this? Sorry, we in
Yeah, the
Puds by
next
this
course
point,
is
yeah.
pudding. So the next wine. I was trying to segue us in nicely, but
So
fucked it.
the next wine was delicious. It was an orange wine, I would say.
But it definitely had like a citrusy bite, but like a really nice, sweet, easygoing flavour to it. And on the menu, they just say chocolate, but it was like a burnt chocolate. It's like if you ever had chocolate that. So
I've got a
bear with
perfect
me.
description.
Bear with me, listeners, while I try and describe. Lumpy, horrible chocolate taste because you've put it in the microwave for too long. This was a delicious apricot puree
Really, really good. Yeah.
with a chunk of chocolate that's been microwaved for too long, served with a really, really lovely coconut sorbet.
Yeah. Sorbet on point.
Apricot puree.
Apricot puree.
On point. I
Best part of the
love
dish.
that. That was so good. But this
The
like cracker,
Burnt
chocolate.
chocolate was really unpleasant, actually.
It was not nice.
So, after, again, in my unprofessional opinion, after a meal like that, give me a nice citrusy something, a nice citrusy ice cream with maybe some other elements. The burnt chocolate just sucked,
I
man.
mean, maybe that's what they were going for, with that kind of distinctive taste. But yeah, no, the burnt chocolate was a bit minging.
It was just not nice. It was, yeah.
It was such a shame because the apricot puree was brilliant. Like the best apricot puree you could expect.
Give me a bowl of that with that coconut ice cream.
Oh,
Lovely.
coconut-
Absolutely
Coconut
lovely,
sorbet.
yeah.
That's it. But yeah.
Get rid of that fucking burnt chocolate. It was just gross. Gross. No, gross is harsh.
I don't think it is that harsh. It was pretty gross. I mean, I just described it as minging. So.
Okay, all right.
But I don't think that's overly harsh. If you want to renege,
No,
renege
no,
away. But
no.
that really let the dish down for me. Not nice. But But then it led into this really nice dessert, which was the... Oh, no?
No, didn't rate it.
Okay. So on the menu, it's like apple, lemon, tea and orange blossom.
Oh, okay.
And I think the apple and lemon was referring to the lovely little tartlet. It's like a quarter of a tart, which I really, really liked.
Didn't like it at all.
Really?
Yeah, didn't like mine
No,
at
I love
all.
that. That was like, it was a really delicate pastry with...
Really? So mine was chewy and...
Oh, really? You got the
shit.
raw end
like,
of the deal, man, because mine was fucking delicious.
Yeah, mine was a bit shit.
And then it was what? Was it like a little eclair or something?
So that was good. That's what I want after a fish course.
Yeah, what was that?
It was like a lemony...
Yeah.
God, would you say pastry?
It's like an eclair type.
Okay, yeah. So like a lemony eclair-esque thing, like a ball of pastry.
Yeah.
Which
it's
that's
like
what I want.
Rolled in
after.
sesame seeds. And it was like, oh.
Yeah. That's what I want after a fish.
I really enjoyed
thing.
both of those. Like little apple tart and that. And then it was like a weird chocolatey tea, or I think this was the orange blossom. Like a chocolate eclair type thing that was set in like an angular kind of way. Not particularly nice. It's not the worst chocolate I've ever had.
I enjoyed it.
But it's not the best chocolate.
I enjoyed it.
Interesting, that's funny.
It was up there with one of the better chocolates I've had from a place like this. I thought it was not overbearingly rich as a lot of these chocolates are, and it was just quite pleasant to eat.
Again, I ate them in the order in which they were described, but yeah, I loved the first two and was not overly impressed by the last one. But Hudson,
I liked
the first one, and then
I'm not sure if I got some dodgy bit, but unfortunately, because I like tarts, so that tart, the apple tart thing, was just not very good. Can we, before we move on to coffees quickly, can we just talk a little bit about service?
Yeah.
So it's not their fault at all.
Well, those fucking visors.
The service was good on the whole. The lady and the guy were very pleasant people. I didn't get any sort of overwhelming service from them.
No.
But the fucking visors. So the restaurant wasn't quiet, but I couldn't hear a damn thing either of them said at all. On the whole, though, service didn't blow me away. And with the visors,
It didn't blow me away. And again,
with the lady trying to explain the wine and the guy trying to explain the dishes,
I understood a lot more.
Fucking hear them.
I understood a lot more of what the lady was saying.
Yeah, well, I still can hear her.
Yeah.
I was just nodding at the times that one is supposed to nod and getting on with it.
I definitely caught most of what she was saying. The guy on the other hand, it was like
I couldn't fucking hear
60%, and I was translating the 60%. I was like conveying the 60% to Hudson after it was done.
Yeah.
And that's the only reason we've even got half a grasp on what we've just eaten.
So, can we go on to the Irish coffees?
Yeah.
So we were both pissed at this point, but I definitely wanted an Irish coffee.
It was like 9:45.
Yeah.
They have coffee on the menu.
Yeah.
They clearly have spirits about. And we asked for an Irish coffee. And the guy was like, no, we don't really have the facilities to make the Irish coffee, and it's quite late anyway.
Punk.
Yeah, it's like, you've got coffee on the menu. You have the facilities to make Irish coffee.
Mm.
Tell us it's too late, or not. But
I was looking forward to an Irish coffee after
Yeah.
that meal. It was quite a substantial meal.
no, for sure. I think an Irish coffee would have done us good, but
We didn't get...
it was lame bullshit excuses for not getting it.
Yeah.
But fine, whatever.
Yeah. And by this point, Theo had rolled a cigarette and we paid the bill, which was...
The bill was 306. I think we paid 320, so we paid 160 each.
160 each, which is not fucking cheap for that experience
No, God no.
at all. Actually, on the super expensive side.
That was by far the most expensive meal we've had.
Yeah.
By a
Easily.
country fucking mile.
Easily. Not terribly taken with the price at all. It was fucking expensive. Didn't get our Irish coffee. The wine pairing was fine, but didn't go down a treat sort of thing.
There were one or two dishes where I was like, okay, I can see what they're doing with this. But the other 6 glasses of wine were like nice enough, but really it was like. And one of the courses, they're like, oh, we don't really have a pairing for this,
There's
so
fucking salad.
we'll just top you up.
Yeah.
And they put like half a dribble Like she bothered to come over there to add half a dribble to each of our glasses, and I was like, that's more of an insult than a top up. It's like, that's pointless. What a pointless endeavour.
So after all this and more, after paying the bill, Theo had rolled his cigarette and fucked off even before I was ready to go. I was still sitting there, and Theo just fucked off out of the restaurant.
I was too drunk. I honestly didn't realise. I said thank you very much and left.
Yeah, and just fucking left. And I was sitting there, and these people were looking at me as if like Theo had just like left me, as in like being in a relationship.
Abandoned.
This fucking dude just fucked off. And I was still having a drink, I still needed to go for a piss and stuff.
I had no idea.
So I like sat there, finished my glass of dessert wine.
I thought you took a while.
Went for a piss, said like thanks, got my coat, said bye, and I was just waiting outside. So yeah.
Yeah, just about finished my cigarette by the time I was finished fucking around.
Yeah, fucking around, finishing up basically.
I know, honestly.
That was raw, dog. You were just like, see ya, bye, and then just left me.
Honestly, because I was so drunk, I did not realise that you still.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't even think to look. Like, how much wine's you got left? Hudson, do you need the bathroom before we go? Yeah. I was like, I just dropped 160 quid. I need a fag.
I'm fucking out.
Yeah, I need a cigarette and sort my shit out.
No.
Do you know what I did, Hudson?
I'm not surprised.
You know what I did? I walked up to the top of the street to see how far away the McDonald's was.
You.
And then I walked back down thinking it was too far.
I will say that, guys. So
I wasn't that full.
We were pissed, for sure. We were obliterated, which lends to being hungry, of course. But we both got a sandwich on the way home.
Yeah.
My girlfriend gave us a lift, and I could still eat now, which has been a rarity on this trip.
I'm going to cook again.
You're going to cook?
I'm going to chuck. Well,
okay,
I'm going to chuck something in the oven.
Right. That's definitely a rarity.
I mean, I'll definitely put it down to part pissed, part not a food. I mean, I haven't before this meal. I didn't eat before since 11 o'clock. So it was.
So you're about on your third meal timing anyway.
Yeah, it was like 8 hours, but. As you said, like on the way home we got a sandwich, and I'm ready to eat again. So like finish off that third meal, you know. So I'm interested to hear your rating because this was such an up and down.
This was another roller coaster experience. I thought this was going to be a real high scorer.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be a real contender against Gordon Jones. Unfortunately, I'm struggling about where to score it.
Yeah, so I'm gonna say I like doing these roundups, apparently. It's not their fault, but not being able to hear a fucking word the waiters and waitresses said, it did affect my point of view a little bit.
Yeah, those visors were a bit dumb. I did like the music.
We
haven't mentioned that, actually. It was a good selection of music.
Okay, music was good.
Maybe we start at the beginning. So. We're still drunk. It's the same evening.
Yeah. The main course, in inverted commas, if you like, was not very good.
That bullshit salad was not very good.
The fucking salad thing.
Yeah.
I don't know what the chef is thinking, dishing that up. I don't know why no one's told him, basically, that sucks ass. Apart from that very enjoyable experience, some great fucking... Are we confirming that the dish of the day was the sea bream? With the blood orange. I 100% agree.
For sure. I loved that starter, but I think that really blew my mind.
So, some absolutely fantastic dishes.
Which is going to, I don't know, because the kind of score I'm thinking of might seem harsh, given the praise we've given on the high dishes.
Interesting.
But the price.
The price. Oh, you just bought it down. You have just bought it down because the price was ridiculous.
Rightfully so, because the price was ridiculous.
Yeah. What else? I wanted to say one more thing to round up. Oh yeah,
my dining partner with a dick.
The decor and the restaurant atmosphere.
It was the lack of decor.
The lack of decor.
Yeah. It was a nice busy restaurant, so I
can't really fault the atmosphere.
On
actually.
That front?
Yeah.
It was like a loud, busy restaurant, but again, it's like...
So for those reasons and reasons we've discussed, I am going to give it an unfortunate, actually, 684 is what I'm going to give it.
Interesting.
Yeah, because to me it was, even still, I think it was better than the Black Rat in terms of cuisine. I think it was better than the Black Rat.
See, I love seafood, and I think they did an amazing job on a lot of their dishes. But that price point cuts deep, man. It really cuts deep.
It's fucking expensive. So, guys, more expensive than sorrel.
It was more expensive than the most expensive so far, which was Gordon Jones at 250 quid.
That's more of a, yeah.
Plus tip.
More expensive than Gordon Jones, yeah.
So we spent another, what did I say? Yeah, so we spent £70 more than, I think well, since this is the last proper meal, you'll find out tomorrow what the last meal is. The last proper dining out. We spent £70 more.
Yeah, okay.
So for me, it's I'm going to go for 643.
Okay, so we're not that far off.
We're pretty close together. But again, I think it's the last two that I've rated lower than you. Maybe it's just me getting used to the rating system, or maybe
I think the high dishes
My
were
finer
exceptional, though.
They were, Hudson, don't get me wrong. Like, I don't want to detract from the deliciousness of it, but the price is what's bringing it down for me.
Yeah, £85 for the set menu.
I'm not sure it's worth it.
Interesting.
And that's why I think I've rated it lower than the Black Rat. Because the Black Rat, I enjoyed every aspect of it.
And the price point
for
kicks
a reasonable price.
Price?
For a reasonable price. Whereas this, I enjoyed a lot of it. And, I mean, 2 dishes were absolute dog shit. For quite literally, like, 2 or 3 times the price. It's like, that maths for me doesn't work out, honestly.
Interesting. For now, I'm sticking with my score, but I'm doing a revision of all scores. Yeah, this is a really tough one to score. I'm happy with what I've given it, but
I'm happy with what I've given
the
it.
price point
I'm
is...
not happy with what I've paid for it.
No,
I'm
Would you go back?
No, I don't think so.
Interesting.
Not unless I was really trying to impress some trendy chick who lived down in Brighton, you know.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that I don't think I would. Like, I would go back to most of the places we've been to before I'd come back to here.
It's interesting. Fucking up the main dish is...
It's a big faux pas. I've been sitting here with my big knife and fork the entire time waiting for this. I managed to fuck that up. It's a decent wine pairing, and frankly, that was our only option, given that the cheapest bottle of wine was like £30.
That's another thing that the drinks menu pissed me off a little bit.
The cheapest bottle of wine was about 30 quid odd, and then it was £45 odd, and then it was £60 plus for the other 8 bottles that we could have gotten. So the wine pairing was the more reasonable way to go.
Yeah, that's what they want you to do. It was obvious that is the direction you're being pushed into, I would say.
Yeah, and I was fine with that at the time. But having experienced the menu, I was just like, I kind of wish I just went for the beers. Because they did have beer, so I kind of wish I just went for beers.
Okay, alright. I'm gonna have to think about this one for a bit. I thought that was alright, but I'm still fucked up.
Yeah. No, we pulled through, we can do this, isn't it?